I hope that racing in KZN continues and it goes from strength to strength. I hope the powers above can come up with some winning formulas and brainstorm some proper solutions to ensure that we sustain racing in KZN and even in South Africa.
Sure.
We won't want racing to close down. But also I think there's a lot of big owners out there, a lot of top breeders, and hopefully they can make sure that the game is sustained.
There's a good song that goes, Just the Two of Us. I can't remember who sings it. Do you know who sings it?
No.
No, Just the Two of Us. We'll Google it, but it's a good song. And it is just the two of us today on the In the Box Seat podcast. Myself, Warren Inferno, and I say colleague, racing friend, and owner, Steven Chetty. Steven, how are you today?
I'm fine, thanks, John.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
No, only a pleasure. Fantastic. Before we go on and talk a bit more about Steven Chetty and find out about his racing story, it would be remiss if we didn't greet and thank our sponsors as well. Soccer, these Score 6 and Score 10 are the soccer bets available on Tab Gold. There's of course Greyhound Racing that's available and Greyhound Betting that's available on Tab Gold. And there's a new bet being released soon called Card Call, so watch this space for more information. So to Score 6, Score 10, Tab Gold, thanks for your support, and of course get your soccer bets on, get your Greyhound bets on, and watch out for Card Call, which is a new bet coming out very soon. Andrew Harrison's not with us today. He's back in the province after his holiday in the Kalahari, and he'll be with you next Thursday, but I sadly won't be with you next Thursday. I'm taking some time off. Although, Stephen, we say time off, but we're going to the Summer Cup, we're going to the Betway Summer Cup, we're going to the horse sales, so it's not really time off, it's just time away from home, I suppose.
Yes, working holiday.
So, Andrew will be back with you next week, and he's got a message for you, Andrew. Robert Moore, who was here from the South African Jockey Academy, said he's come to KwaZulu-Natal to take your apprentices back to Joburg, because you're always moaning about that, and he said, I must make a point of saying hello to you from Robert Moore. But it's not about Andrew Harrison and Robert Moore, it's about Steven Chetty. We're going to do something completely different this time. And we're going to go, and people are going to say, well, we don't want negativity, and we don't like negativity. But we're going to talk about something different and start off. You were telling me off here, you've got two bad moments in racing, or two moments that you're not happy about, or two bad moments. Tell us what are those two bad moments.
Yes, Warren. I think you probably are aware of Nicholas I had with Duncan Howells, and I couldn't believe it that horse went past the finish line twice and lost both those races on an objection. So that was like really gutted me.
So but was he? I mean, the reason for those objections was it? I mean, I can't remember that far back. Just was it hanging around, or was it?
Look, I've looked at other races since, and I think there's other events that were worse.
Okay.
So, but anyway, that's the way the cookie crumbles. We take the good with the bad in horse racing.
So twice Nicholas passed the line in first, and
Yes.
twice you lost it on objection.
We lost it in the boardroom on an objection. Unbelievable.
Not once, but twice.
Twice.
Okay.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer horse, but it was just so it wasn't a good feeling at that time.
I can imagine, as you say, to have it done to you twice. But
Yeah.
then there was another horse that you've got, and you're going to give us the meaning and the correct pronunciation, because we're still about to get it right, or wrong at least. It's Armageddon.
Yes, Armageddon.
What happened with Armageddon that gave you a happy feeling?
Yeah, Armageddon. Well, that's just recent. So his last race in Durban, just came flying from the back, and I think on the line he could have got up for a dead heat. And I watched that replay so many times, but he ended up getting in the second block. So, and then there was two races before that when he raced against Airways Law.
Yes.
Airways Law won that race, but that was also a race where it could have been a dead heat, and I think he's got second there. So that wasn't good. Two occasions.
Sure. So two close seconds that could have been a dead heat. Two races that you won, and lost on objections. So yeah, that's bitter pills to swallow.
Yeah.
But as you say, you take the good with the bad, and yeah, because I often ask people, your most enjoyable moments in racing or your most low moment in racing. We don't like to talk about those things, but it's a reality at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Yes.
But those two horses in particular, have always done you okay. They've done you proud. They've won your races, and I remember them both. Obviously, you said Adamagam is still around and won in Joburg the other day, which we'll talk about. But Nicholas, he was a lovely thing. What is he doing nowadays, Nicholas? Is he retired?
Yeah, he's retired to a family in the South Coast. He's on the beachfront, taking some rides on the seaside. So he's enjoying his life down there.
Not a lot of, but often I would go into the winner's box to do interviews, and I would look across, and you were in the second box. My pet hate as an owner, as a punter, box. Is the worst box. So yes. I'd rather be third or first or fourth even, but not second. But you've had a lot of seconds, but those seconds turn into winners, and they are starting to turn into winners.
Yes, absolutely. Look, if your horse runs in the first three, we take it with, we get humbled by the win. But second and third is good as well in horse racing, because it's hard. It's hard you can't win every race.
Sure.
Someone's got to run second and third.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to, who was it? Goodness gracious. It was Michel Narek, our CEO, the other day. He was on the podcast, and he was telling us that he had a statistic, I think it was 21 seconds consecutive, last at least, not seconds. He had 21 runners or 19 runners, all ran last. So he was telling us that was his low moment in horse racing. But yeah, it happens. But you're quite right. To run a place is good and win is even better.
Yes.
How is it that you got involved in racing, Stephen? Because, how did it start for you? How did you hear about this wonderful sport?
Yeah, look, Warren, my journey with horse racing started with Herman Brown Jr.
Okay.
Funny enough, it wasn't even horse racing related. He called me to assist him with some road issue as an engineer at his place in Kloof, and we became good friends. And then one day he phoned me up and said, look, would you like to get involved in horses? And it was through him that I actually got involved with horse racing. And then his dad, Herman Brown Sr., actually taught me quite a bit as well.
Okay.
And then I got to know Frank through the Browns. And it all started there. When Herman Brown Jr. was giving up horse racing, all his horses that he had under him, then he actually basically, I've taken over all those horses.
Okay. It's a simple question, and it's the question that gets a lot of people involved in the game.
Yes.
As you said, that Herman phoned you up and said, would you like to get involved in a horse? And I think the more of us in racing, and the more trainers, the more other owners, the more everybody in racing ask those questions to even strange people. Obviously, you can't just walk up to somebody on the street, but
yes.
I mean, if you're at a social event or you're at a function, and pose that question, say to that person, would you like to get a share in a racehorse, or would you like, and some of them will look at you like you're mad.
Yes.
Some will say, well, that could be an idea, tell me more.
Absolutely.
Some will say, leave me alone, and I think it's just a great way, because if you don't ask, you don't get.
Absolutely, yes. And my first horse, the name of that horse was Winning Edge. So,
okay, I remember Winning Edge.
Yeah.
That was a good couple of years ago, Winning Edge, quite
yes.
right. Okay, and how many did Winning Edge end up winning?
I think he ended up, he was then with Frank when Herman gave up racing, and I think he ended up winning 3 races.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, very good. As we saw, we'll talk about Son of Raj a bit later on, but that day was a particularly special day, because now we spoke about your 2 down days, or your 2 down horses, or those 2 down occasions.
Yes.
But Son of Raj was a very happy occasion, and then you were telling me off air that was probably your highest moment in racing. Why is that?
Yes, look, Son of Raj won on the 26th of October this year. It was his first win out of his second run. It was a very special day, a special moment. I had a few of my family members there. They belong to the Son of Raj's side. And also on that specific day, there was a very special person that passed on the 26th of October. So it was so fitting for Son of Raj to actually win on that day, because Raj is my dad, and he's late. And that was the day that Mark Cedric Vincent, which was fondly known as Andy, had passed on. And when the nominations came out for Son of Raj to run on that day, and I was telling myself, just it'll be such a moment for Son of Raj to actually win on this day, because Raj and Andy, they're up there, and you know, they probably looking down upon us and is probably laughing or smiling upon us, you know, and it actually came true. I couldn't believe it when it won.
Fairy tale stories do come true. Dreams do come true, and I mean that I could feel that day. Because I was the one that had the privilege of interviewing you, and
Yes.
you have your family, and you know, maybe they don't come to the races as often as they would like, or you know, and I remember they were just on the outskirts of the parade ring, and we brought them in and we said, come and enjoy the moment, because that area in the winner's circle, specifically for that win, you could feel the warmth, you could feel the vibe, and it was a warm, fuzzy moment, wasn't it?
It's absolutely, Warren. You know, that was my auntie and my uncle, my dad's brother and sister, and they had never come into the parade ring ever before.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have never been into the view room ever before. So my uncle was telling me that my dad and him, in their younger days, they should actually clean the big windows outside for the gravel race course. Okay. And he was very, very touched to even be in a parade ring, to lead the horse in, and up to this day he can't believe it. I mean, it was such, you know, I thank God that I could actually allow them to experience that feeling. You know, for someone to feel something and experience that feeling is out of this world.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can get, that's what we tell the public, we tell the viewers, you know, that you can get these wonderful feelings through the sport of horse racing. You know, it brings the people together, it brings memories alive, it brings dreams alive. Not always. I mean, you know, Son of Raj on that occasion may not have won.
Yes.
You know, but it worked. The stars aligned, and it worked on that occasion.
Look, the stars aligned. Andy and Raj up there, they made sure it happened. I can tell you that night we really partied, Warren.
I can imagine. I remember you were saying you were going home to have a few
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels. So that's your drink of choice, Jack Daniels?
Yes, Jack is my choice of drinks, and we drank many bottles.
Well, I'm sure that everybody together would have had a great, joyous occasion. Talking about your family, you're a family man, and it's just wonderful, because family is a firm part of our lives, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, look, I'm very family orientated. Obviously, my family means the world to me. You know, it's to share all these moments and events. It's priceless to have your family around you and to make sure that you know, you can experience all these joys with them. Yeah, look, I've got a very strong family support. We obviously got many dynamics within the family, but that's common amongst most families or all families. Sure. But yeah, look, I come from a very large family. But all of them are not in horse racing. Okay. I'm the only one. That's in horse racing. So, but when my horses run, they obviously watch them and they interest, and they jump for joy, and but they are not the punting type or horses. They support me. They are there for me, but. It's not they be all and end all.
It's amazing how it works like that, because you know, I look at my family too. My close family. I mean, my sister wouldn't know how to get to Gravel Racecourse. Right. She wouldn't know how to get to Hollywood Bed Scottsville. I mean, she's got no idea, no interest. Even if I've got runners, you know, I'll say to her maybe at the dinner table, you know, during the week or whatever, we had a winner or we had a fourth, or you know, no interest. My brother-in-law, no. My mom, who is not very elderly, but she's 80 next month, and she loves it though. She takes a keen interest in it. Yes. I think she had to, because my late father, he loved his horses. My brother, all the men on my brother loves his horses. I love the horses. All the girls are not wild about horses in our family, but my mom takes an interest. But as for my cousins and aunts and uncles, they also wouldn't know how to get to the closest race course. Amazing how it works like that.
Yes. Okay, look, there is one uncle that I must say that's into horse racing, and he's probably got me on the punting side, because I should go and take his bits, and that's my Uncle D's. So he's the only one. He's the one that's most of the time with me on the race course. So yeah, I think he's also partly responsible for getting me into horses and into an interest in the horse racing part, more on the punting side. what's the PA, what's the pick six, the jackpot. You know, when you're getting to learn the game, you don't know all these things, and you need someone to teach you all these things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Stephen, tell me, do you have a favorite bet? Do you have a favorite bet? Like mine's the exacta. What's your favorite bet?
Look, I enjoy taking the Yankees, Warren. Because you have a chance of either winning, a little bit of your stakes back.
Okay.
If one horse goes off, the 4-horse Yankees is something that I really enjoy.
The other three might arrive, you can cover up. Okay.
But in the total, I enjoy the bipot and also sometimes the pick six.
Okay.
Yeah. So quartets.
Quartets. Okay. You're like our good friend Dee's Diner. He's the quartet king. I call him the quartet king. He loves his quartets. Red is clearly your colour.
Absolutely.
Your favourite colour.
Yes.
Why is it red your favourite colour? And how did you get your racing silks to being red and silver, or red and silver? Is
yes,
it red and silver?
Yeah.
Tell us about red.
Yeah. Look, Warren, red has always been my favourite colour. When I was in school, I was a top athlete, and I always seem to have run in red.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's
so
interesting.
I've got my Natal colours when I was in high school, and I remember clearly I actually wore a red vest and a striped white and red shorts.
Okay.
And look, that was a very joyous moment for me. You know, getting my Natal colours in the 800 and 1,500 meters.
Jeez, yeah. Okay.
So it's like, so red has always stuck with me.
Stuck with you. Okay, geez, that's interesting. Okay, so you've obviously made your racing colours red. Is your car red?
Yes, absolutely. I've got a red Merc.
Okay, so you've got a red Merc. Okay.
Yeah.
And every time we see you, even Sheldon Peters said on the commentary the other day, dressed in your red.
Yes.
Okay, so that's fantastic. So that's why red is your favourite colour.
Yes.
Racing in general, on a whole, if you had to sit back and look at your career as an owner and as a punter and as your involvement, been good to you? I mean,
look, Warren,
could always be better.
Yeah,
we know that. We know that. But
racing is going through, huge challenges.
yes,
but it's not just here in South Africa. I think it's throughout the world. The economy is going through a hectic bashing at the moment. But racing, the stakes are very minimal. The expenses are huge.
sure.
But you have to have deep pockets and you have to have a passion for the game in order to be in it. And I think COVID has come along and chased a lot of the owners away as well. I've cut down my string drastically during the COVID time.
Okay.
I had to decide, having a family, do you put food on the table or have a horse in the stable?
that rhymes. Do you put food on the table or horse in the stable?
Yes,
that rhymes.
Yeah. So I really cut down. At one stage I had about 30 horses, so I had to cut down drastically to get it to a reasonable, to a reasonable figure, an affordable figure. And I'm glad with the string I've got now. You know, it's good quality horses, and it's paying dividends. Previously, I had a lot of horses that that weren't taking me anyway, but obviously it was costing a lot of money.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think this is the right thing. As you say, rather than get out, restructure. That's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah.
What line of business are you in, Stephen?
Warren, I'm a civil engineer. Okay. I'm a professionally registered civil engineer with the Engineering Council of South Africa. So that's my core function. I've got 2 degrees in civil engineering. But I have other interests, other business interests. I trade the Johannesburg stock market.
Okay.
A lot of my income or earnings to sustain myself in horse racing has been generated out of playing the stock market. I invest in well-run companies that pay very good dividends. That's when most people are sleeping at night, I'm doing my research and my investigations and making sure that I can actually go and trade those companies.
Okay.
Also, there are other businesses. I've investigated forex trading.
Okay.
Very risky, and it's hard to make money out of forex. You inevitably end up losing quite a bit of money as well. Bitcoin and the different cryptocurrencies. So I have a keen interest on that as well.
Okay,
so I try to trade that as well.
So although it's an income and it's a business, it's also a bit of a hobby, could you say? I mean,
yes, Look, in order to be successful, you obviously got to be working 24/7.
Sure.
Yeah. If you're a person that sleeps 8 to 10 hours a day, success is not going to come to you.
Yeah.
So as I said, when most people are sleeping, I am working, and I haven't got to the stage by people just handing things out to me. So I've worked very hard for what I've got, and I had nothing, Warren, absolutely nothing.
Sure.
I can tell you, I was down below zero in my life, and I know it's taken me a lot of hard work to get where I am, even to keep my horses, to maintain where I am. I'm not an expensive person in terms of my lifestyle,
Sure.
but I work very hard to do what I can do to keep myself and enjoy the game of horse racing and be where I am.
Well, that's a wonderful, successful story. I bumped into one of the jockeys here this morning who works with the Peter Muscat stable, and that's who you race with mainly at the moment, and we'll touch on that just now. But he said to me, "Who's on your podcast today?" I said, "No, Mr. Steven Chetty." He said, he said, his exact words were, "What a wonderful man to ride for."
Yes.
Why did he say that? Why you're a wonderful man to ride for?
I think, Warren, because I'm probably a very easygoing guy.
Okay.
Look, I'm not, I don't dictate to the trainers or to the jockeys what to do. I get on with all trainers. I've had horses with many of the trainers, both in Joburg, Cape Town, and here in KZN. There's many jockeys that ride for me, and I get on with all of them. So I think I'm just easygoing. There's a lot of owners that obviously are quite rigid. They are quite, harsh in the comments as well. I take the losing on the cheek, and we come back another day. So it's horse racing. One race doesn't make up the entire racing.
Sure.
So when we win, we all want to be happy. I think the true character of people comes out when they lose.
Yeah.
Then you see the real side. Yes.
Yeah. Good point. Let's talk about your horses. We've touched on Son of Raj. Son of Raj actually runs. We're recording today, Thursday. Son of Raj runs on Sunday up at Hollywood Bed, Scottsville. Are you coming to the races?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And lightly raced, won its last start. So exciting prospect.
Yes. Look, I haven't spoken to Peter, but I was on the phone just now, and I saw Mark driving past, and he said, difficult out of the maidens, running with hard knockers, 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds, and horses that have won many races before. But I think this is as a test, Warren. We're hoping he is good. We all hope, as owners, that we all hope that the horses are good. But we'll see on Sunday, how he performs against these older horses, harder knocking horses.
And because we interviewed Mark for the Understarters Orders interviews that will be shown on television and on YouTube through the weekend. He did also mention that young horse still got some strengthening up to do and some scope to improve. So that's exciting. Whatever happens on Sunday, you'll know where you stand and where you're going, I suppose.
Yeah, look, even on the 26th, he was lucky to win that race. All credit goes to Tristan Gordon. I think he rode an amazing race, very clever race, and I'm indebted to him and Peter Muscat for winning that race on the 26th, because it was what a moment for us.
Yeah, it was.
And it's
well, as you said it's probably your best moment in racing.
Absolutely, and I hope Tristan can do something with Son of Raj. We don't expect the win, but a good run.
At least you know where you, because Kevin Shea always taught me that post-maiden run, at first run out the maidens, there's always, you can get a gauge if you run tailed off 30 lengths or then and think, oh goodness, now you've got a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
But if happen to run fifth, 4 lengths off, then you've got a chance of improving off that. Or if you win again, then it's exciting. It's an important run to gauge where you are.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be nice because he won on the 26th, and then on the 29th, 3 days later, Armagam wins a listed race up in Joburg. So that was an awesome moment.
I remember that occasion clearly because that was, you sent that up to Joburg. You and Wayo Mawing have had a friendship for some time as well, haven't you?
Yes, yeah. Wayo is a very good friend of mine. I know him for many, many years, and he's been good to me as well.
The meaning of Armagam?
Armagam is, Son of Raj and Armagam are two very important men in my life. There's a lot of Son of Raj is my biological dad, and he passed on, and Armagam is my other dad that grew me up. Okay. So without these two men in my life, I wouldn't be where I am today.
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah, so obviously this is to pay tribute to them.
Okay.
And I'm just so glad these horses have turned out to be, such good horses. And even I've been offered ridiculous money for them, and I turned it down. because they mean so much
Absolutely,
to me
it's,
in my heart, and to someone else it may just be another horse, and to me, it's just the pure feeling that I have in my heart that no money can buy, and when you have that pure, honest feeling in your heart, you must never sell it and never give it away, because once it goes away, you will regret it somewhere down your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned how you've mentioned those horses, those tributes to those two men. You think of a horse that Steven Chetty bred and named after the late Naresh Juglal, tribute to you. I mean, that was also another beautiful story. But you've got other horses. Tell us who's in the Chetty string at the moment.
Look, we've Frudiana is the mother to Son of Raj and Armagam, and strangely enough, today she actually dropped the foal from an Horizon stallion. So Eugene Freeman, she's in Boland Stud. He sent us the photos at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, fantastic.
And so there's another one added onto the string. It's the filly.
She's been good to you, that mare.
She has been very good. Frank Robinson trained her, and she has been very good to me. She's earned me a lot of money, a lot of memories, a lot of joy, and certain things money can't buy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so Frudiana, and you've enjoyed your little bit of interest in breeding. You
Yes.
just got the one mare.
I've got the one mare. So it's Frudiana only, and my partner in the rest of that portfolio of the rest of the horses, except for Armagam and Son of Raj, is Mufti Govindsamy.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a very good friend of mine. He's like a brother to me. No pressure from him. So he owns basically half the horses in all the horses that are bred, except for Armagam and Son of Raj.
Okay. So I was going to ask you, do you only race on your own? But you've got partner.
Well, I've had most of my other horses, or some of the other horses, were with other partners. But look, I think you after a certain amount of partnerships, then you realize, okay, it's better to just stick with certain individuals.
Sure. Your trainers, you say you've had a lot of horses with a lot of trainers over the time, but are you, at the moment, have you just got with Wayho and Peter?
Yes, at the moment I'm with Peter Muscat, and then with Wayo. I had a horse with Garrett. I think Garrett is an exceptional trainer, young trainer that's coming up. But we sold that horse to Mauritius.
Okay.
Yeah, so as I said, I've cut down quite a bit of the horses. So it's trying times now.
Yeah, no, sure, absolutely. And as you say, rather trim than get out completely. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, look, horse racing, I don't think as an owner you can get out completely if you really love the game.
Yeah, once that bug's bitten.
Yeah, but there are other challenges, in terms of casinos, and fortunately I'm not a casino man, but it's all these different soccer games, stuff like that, competing with horse racing. But I think if you really love horses, you will have an interest in one way or the other.
Yeah,
like yourself, I know you own a few as well.
It's well, we my wife and I are involved in a lot smaller scale, percentage-wise, in each horse. But we also had quite an alarming number at one stage, and funnily enough, last night I was actually just doing the count and doing the recon on the spreadsheet. Not that it's a spreadsheet to keep track of expenses, because you don't want to keep track of expenses, but you just want to keep track of who you've got and where they are. And we have also considerably reduced, but you have to, as you say, it's just, you really have to, because rather than going out, as I say, we could never go out. I mean, racing's our life, we live racing every day of our lives. But we have to trim it just as one of those things. But that's not only in horse racing, as you say. I know guys that play golf 5 times a week, they're only playing twice a week now.
Yes.
I know guys that go on fishing trips once a month, they're only going once every 2 months.
Absolutely.
I know guys that have gone shopping at Woolworths their whole life, they're now shopping at Checkers. You've got to just cut your cloth according.
Yes.
So we're all in the same boat. Let's talk about racing's future. And I don't want to go on too much about it, but Hollywood Bets have got involved in KZN and Cape Town in a big way for racing in the other centres, etc. But what do you think? I mean, you're quite right. The stakes are low, but I've told people if you're in it only just for the stakes, well, then you're wasting your time.
Yes.
You've got to be in it. You've got to have the passion, the love to accept the stakes.
Absolutely.
And we've all done that.
Yeah.
Because we're not doing it for the money as such. Yes, we don't want to make a loss.
Yeah.
But it's tough. but
Yes.
you've got to have that passion. Are you happy with the way things are going? What can be improved?
Yeah, look, I think it's a godsend that Hollywood has got involved. They have put in a lot of incentives, like the groom's prizes.
Yes.
And I see they involved in Cape Town or Fairview, is it? Yeah, so they're getting involved all over. But it's, it's good that they are contributing back into the system and not just taking out.
Sure.
There's very few people who want to put back. Everyone is just interested in taking out of the system.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look, I hope that racing in KZN continues and it goes from strength to strength. I hope the powers above can come up with some winning formulas and brainstorm some proper solutions to ensure that we sustain racing in KZN and even in South Africa.
Sure.
We won't want racing to close down. Yeah. But also I think there's a lot of big owners out there, a lot of top breeders, and hopefully they can make sure that the game is sustained.
Yeah.
The small guys, we obviously the bread and butter. We sort of keep the game going as well. But there's a lot of big individuals and big players out there that assist the game in going on.
There's a lesson that always stuck in my mind. Before I started in the racing industry, well, I've been my whole life since I was born. I mean, I've been a punter, and my grandfather and father and everybody had horses. But I worked full time in the hospitality industry, and when I was going through my training, the one general manager said to me, "You treat if a couple come into your restaurant and order a cup of coffee and a scone."
Yes.
Or if they come in and order 2 bottles of champagne and 4 dozen prawns, you treat them exactly the same way because you need their business. They all play part of your business.
Absolutely.
And what you've just said now, exactly, I think we are not lucky, but we're fortunate in racing to have the small fries, the middle fries, the middle income, the higher big players, the big owners, because
Yes.
I know somebody who owns 5% in one racehorse, and that person's as important as all of us.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So you're quite right, and I think that's where the positivity is, and that's where we've got the big owners that have
Yes.
got the 50 horses and the 80 horses and the big budgets, etc. We need them,
Yes.
but we also need the little guys.
Yes,
and
definitely.
girls.
Yeah.
So-
just like the big trainers and the small trainers,
Absolutely.
the top jockeys and the ones that are coming up.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're all needed. They all
yeah.
play a vital role. You're quite right.
And
yeah.
if you look at it, Warren, in our South African racing, it's just we've got some really top trainers that has even gone worldwide and proved themselves. Look at Mike de Kock. You got David Ferraris.
Yeah.
And even David Payne. The jockeys, Robbie Fred, Dougie White. They're all doing their thing. Even Michael Roberts, he went throughout the world.
Yeah, no, we have. We are very lucky in this country and in the province. You're right. We've got some very good horsemen and horsewomen.
Yeah.
We certainly have, and there's some lovely youngsters coming through the ranks.
Absolutely.
Young trainers, Daryl Marie. I'm just thinking of young Steven Chetty. Those are just 2 names that come to the top of my head.
Yes.
But yeah, we certainly have. You are a KZN boy and a KZN family, but yes, you've got that one horse now in Gauteng, but you could have chosen to race anywhere. Why KZN?
Look, KZN, this is my hometown. You obviously want to go racing when your horses are running. You want to be part of the entire experience. When Armagam won the graded race in Joburg on the 29th, it was an awesome feeling. We were celebrating at home. The champagne popped and we were really having a good time. But nothing beats spending that time with family.
Yes.
And it's nice when your horses win and the family is also down in Durban.
Yeah.
So look, Wayo has done well for me and winning that race in Joburg, and I really appreciate what he has done there as well. Hopefully he can do better things with Armagam. I'm looking forward to that.
What's the next round? Have you spoken? What will your next plan with the horse?
Yeah, look, Wayo's got a plan and a program which he wants to run with that horse. Hopefully, look, I think his ultimate goal is to go into the Gold Cup next year.
Okay.
Right. So let's hope and see. Pray to God that it happens for us.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Because this is horse racing; anything can happen.
Absolutely, and your first step, your first part of the plan's already been achieved. So,
Yes.
so you're on the right road. You're on the right road.
Yeah.
Okay, so KZN Racing is your game and your base. We've spoken about your winners in Joburg. Have you had winners anywhere else around the country? Have you had a winner down in the Cape at all?
No, look, Gavin Smith trained for me down in PE. I had a few horses with him. Glenn Cotson had my one horse for a while. That was Bang the Cash, but then we relocated him back to Durban, and he came and won under Frank. Yeah, but my base is here in Durban, and I enjoy the trainers in Durban. Yeah, it's good. You can come up and have a look at your horses and chat to the trainers. You've got a personal relationship with the trainers. Jockeys are good. It's a good environment, Warren. We got I mean, if you look out here, we've got such an amazing setup.
This is special, absolutely. And we keep telling the viewers, and I know some of them have listened to us and said, come up to Summerveld, come to the clubhouse. It's a bit quiet now because obviously it's 10:20 we're recording, and the trainers have gone back to the stables. But what a sight it really is, and to have a lovely hearty breakfast here. I urge people to come up as often as they can because it's open to the public.
Yes, it is. I don't think most people are probably aware of it.
Yeah.
But this is an amazing facility, and it's well maintained. And if you look at the clubhouse, what a good vibe.
Yeah, it certainly is. I was talking about well maintained. I see you and I go to the same barber.
Absolutely.
My mother always told me I'd come out on top, and she was right, Steven, well, it's been fantastic, just to hear a bit of your story. And where do you stay? Where's home for you?
I live in Chatsworth. I'm a Chatsworth boy. My home is there. I enjoy the Chatsworth community, being around my friends, my family, and my local watering hole there as well, Severa.
Okay, the Severa. I remember the Severa. A late friend of mine, you may remember him, David Greet, had a bookmaking business unless I'm thinking Severa Hotel.
Yes, Severa Hotel.
Sure, and I often, when I was at school, used to go and work with him on weekends and go into the betting shops. Obviously, I was over the right age, the legal age. I was in my matric year. But that Higginson Highway, that's the only way into Chatsworth, isn't it?
No, you can come through the back to Malvern.
Okay, because I used to go in on the Higginson Highway, and sometimes the traffic used to be terrible.
No, to the back it's fine. Look, Severa Hotel is quite a decent place, well maintained. It's owned by DeLawson Pillay. They've got the G-Bets there as well.
Okay.
The place is really, really top class.
Okay.
Good food. You must pop by for a bunny
well,
there.
Absolutely, I must, because I haven't been into Chatsworth ever since my friend passed away, and I used to love going into Chatsworth on the weekends. The vibe and the people and the atmosphere was always fantastic.
Got amazing facilities there.
Okay, that's interesting. But so that's where home is, and work from home. Obviously, you've got your office at home, or you've got a...
No, my office is here at Hillcrest. So I work from Hillcrest.
Okay, sure. So a bit of a trek every day.
I think I'm used to it, and it gives you some time to clear your mind, to obviously drive. I drive against the traffic in the morning, and then going home I drive against the traffic that's coming up.
Okay.
So it's a nice drive to and from.
Steven, all that's left is for me is to thank you, for your contribution and for your love mainly of horse racing and your passion of horse racing, because we've known each other quite a long time. Since Nicholas's days.
Yes.
And gosh, that must be, we don't want to give away our age, but that's a long time ago. But you've always, every time I've met you, you've always been the same humble, down to earth, non-aggressive, quiet Steven Chetty. And it's fantastic that you haven't let the successes, as we say in racing, go to your head, and you just always remain humble. So thank you for that, and thank you for your love of the sport and for your contribution to the sport, because as I said, we need everyone's contribution.
Yes, no, thank you so much, Warren, for having me over and for doing this podcast with me. I must say, I actually enjoy listening to you, Dees Dianan, Sheldon. Sheldon's commentary is world class.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some good horse people in this country.
There's no doubt, and I've told him on many occasions, just the way he commentates, he can commentate anywhere in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, funny enough, we had him on our podcast, and through the podcast you learn so much more about people. And I didn't realize that he had commentated overseas already. He was invited to go overseas. So the world is oyster too, and he's still young. So Not that we're wanting to lose our young talent, but
Definitely,
you look at Alistair Cohen, he went overseas now to Dubai. You talk about South African young racing talent that go overseas. I mean, now Craig Zaki, Donovan Dillon, they've gone young talent. So we don't want to lose them, but as we were saying, if they can grow and spread their wings around the world, it would be so wonderful. But you're right. But thank you so much for your contribution, and I hope you have many more winners, and I hope we meet more often with your family in that number 1 box.
Absolutely, Warren. Definitely. That's the box we want to be in.
That's the box we want to be in. Thank you. We were just saying, you and I, that my pet hate, if you had to ask me what's my pet hate on racing.
Second box.
Oh, as an owner, I suppose you don't mind, because for me, anyway, personally, as an owner, I don't mind second. I obviously want to win.
Yes.
But if I have 50 wins on a horse or something, it must either win or run third. Don't run second. That's my pet hate. But anyway, it's been great. We could sit for another hour, but we can't, because Steven's got businesses to run and work to do, and so have I, believe it or not. And Andrew Harrison will be with you next week with possibly Rahil Radhakrishna. I'll be up in Gauteng enjoying a week off. But that's a wrap from all of us. We wish you well. Thank you to Steven, and to him and his whole family, all the very best. Please be positive, be happy, be safe. That's the most important thing. And we'll see you, as always, in the number 1 box. Thank you for watching this week's episode of In the Box Seat podcast right until the very end. And we hope that you enjoyed it, because we certainly did. If you missed last week's podcast, In the Box Seat podcast with Andrew and myself, please go and watch it here. And last week's episode will be right there for you to go and enjoy and watch, as we know you will certainly enjoy In the Box Seat podcast from last week.